All right, folks, it's time for the Malzberg panel. And joining us right now is former Special Assistant to President George W. Bush, the one and only Ron Christie. And also joining us is our friend Peter Morici, professor. Let me just start talking about economics a little and politics, mixing it up. We just had Bill Donahue, president of the Catholic League, and he's urging a boycott of sorts of against Guinness and Heineken and Sam Adams because they boycotted and pulled out of sponsorship for the St. Patrick's Day parade. Further, he pointed out that if a pro-life group or pro-life people wanted to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade with a banner stating that they were pro-life, they couldn't have done that either. He says that this whole thing about being anti-gay as a parade is just a bunch of nonsense. Do these kind of boycotts ever work, Peter?
They have. The boycott in the 70s of lettuce helped the farm workers organize in California. It just depends on how much solidarity there is in the community that's asked to boycott and how significant it is to the product sales. I would suggest this probably won't have a large consequence, but that's my assessment. And I'm not any better than any other economist at this sort of thing.
What about it, Ron?
Well, I think Peter's right. I just am really upset by the underlying tone this is set. This is St. Patrick's Day we're talking about. The celebration in New York City for that parade, and the mayor didn't march in it due to this issue. And I'm sorry, the rules are the rules. You can't hold signs advocating a particular political position. And for this one instance, I just wish that folks, regardless of where they come down on the issue, would respect the rules of the parade.
Now, it's interesting, and we'll do one more question here on this parade. Bill Donahue also announced that he just came, right before he came to our studio, he came from wherever he had to go to seek a permit for the Gay Pride Parade, which is in June here in New York City, to see if he could march with a banner, and the banner would be "Straight is Great." So if he's denied that, I wonder how many politicians and sponsors will pull out of the Gay Pride Parade and call it, whatever, straightophobic or prejudicial against straights. I don't know. Peter?
Well, there's a real difference between a St. Patrick's Day parade or a Columbus Day parade, if I get closer to home, and something like a Gay Pride parade. If the sponsors of the parade, or the city fathers and mothers, to be fair, want to limit the activities to just celebration and say, look, this is not an occasion for politics, then that is their prerogative. If the city's going to give a license to have a Gay Pride parade, and the people that organize the parade want to limit it to expressions of gay pride, I think that's their prerogative. When you fence people out, you fence yourself in, and the more people you restrict, in something like a Gay Pride parade, the less likely you are to have the kind of impact that you'd care to have.
No, absolutely. But Ron, you see Bill's point here. It would be kind of ironic if he's banned from from carrying a sign about being straight when the gay groups were up in arms over being banned for carrying a banner that said they were gay. And I wonder if it would get the same kind of attention, coverage, and or sponsorship support or lack of support for that parade. And we know the answer is no.
Oh, we know the answer is no. Oh, yeah, it would get attention, all right. It would get attention from liberal outlets like MSNBC applauding the decision to ban somebody who is pro-life. And there would be absolute 100% political participation by politicians, but heaven forbid if you're pro-life. I mean, it's just the irony here, the double standard, I think, is somewhat revolting.
All right.
Well, networks do scrounge around for reasons to deny people access who they don't like for reasons of their views. They'll use other criteria. If you're a Democrat and you have outside consulting activities, you don't have much of a problem with CNBC. If you're a conservative, it can be more difficult.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. All right, let's turn to a little economics here. The Fed announcing today, Janet Yellen, that they're going to continue to taper, this time to the tune of another $10 billion. I don't think the stock market went nuts at all. Last I checked it anyway. So, Peter, they were kind of excited. Well, it's down about, I think it's down, if I could tell you, 137 on the Dow. It had been pretty even until that announcement. It's been trickling down the rest since then. I mean, but this is something that the market expected, and would you agree it's something that's healthy?
Well, it is healthy. They need to do it. I would also point out the Fed took out the number 6.5 with regard to unemployment, and it went to a vaguer statement. And that's probably why the market slipped a bit, if it was responding to the Fed at all, because it provides, less of a concrete marker. For a bunch of guys that run around on the basis of rumor, animal spirits, and expectations, they sure like a lot of certitude from public officials when expressing things that really deny that kind of a precise measurement, like unemployment. But that's just the way they are. I think that we ought to have a manic depressive parade in New York, and we'll do that on a day the stock exchange is closed, so none of these guys will lose any money by having to march in. And on that occasion, the pharmaceutical manufacturers can be given the option of, marching with signs, "We gave these guys free drugs today."
Very, very good. Ron, this is something that, predicted some Armageddon when the Fed started tapering. That hasn't happened, and that shows some strain.
I think it does, and I'm frankly tired of the days that all the folks, not Peter Morici, of course, but all the folks who are on the broadcast cable outlets who are breathlessly standing and waiting to see what the Fed chair is going to do or not do, and as if the whole world depends on what the Federal Reserve Chairman does. I think what we need to do is we need to stop priming the pump. I think the Fed needs to back off their monetary policy, and I think that we really need to get a more rational economic policy here in the United States from an administration that has failed to set course. And so there's only so much the Fed can do. It's just that this president has no understanding of economics and how economic policies work, particularly for job creation.
Let me ask.
It's hard to top that, and it's absolutely true. What's really going to be interesting as we get past 2015 is whether Janet Yellen tries to grease the rails for Hillary Clinton by perhaps continuing a very lenient monetary policy on the interest rate side, simply to make her more electable. I mean, we've clearly established in the last 2 weeks that the Democratic Party, cannot be trusted with national security policy, and we have grave suspicion about the economic policies of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So, is there really any reason for them to have any power at all?
Well, Peter, I mean, isn't it traditionally, or am I being naive here, that the chairman of the Fed, I mean, has outlasted presidents even during party switches? Should Janet Yellen not be above that?
Well, Fed chairmen have often taken neutral positions going into elections. They kind of take a pause on making abrupt policy shifts. But she needs to get herself reappointed if she wants to serve 2 terms, which is sort of becoming the desired thing to do as Fed chairman. And I don't know that she should put the economy at peril to get Hillary Clinton elected. After all, the Democrats have been putting the economy at considerable peril for the last 5 years. I'm trying to think of anything these guys have done right. I mean, Mr. Putin has got it really scoped. Get as much as you can right now before this fool is gone.
Good advice for Putin, Ron?
Well, look, I think it says it all when, Vladimir Putin is marching in the Crimea and President Obama is filling out his NCAA bracket. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, that's all you need to say for what we've seen today.
Send him some Guinness.
Well, I'll tell you, he picked Michigan State, so that means Louisville's going to win. And we're going to address that in my segment at the end of the hour called Give Me 5. But I thank both of you gentlemen. We'll see you next hour.
Bye.
All right, Peter Morici, ladies and gentlemen, and Ron Christie. That was simple. Bye. I like that. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to take a look at how Barack Obama and Obamacare is viewed by the very people that Obama needs to purchase and sign up for Obamacare, the young, with a very well-educated, very well-advanced young man. Don't miss it. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV.
The Steve Malzberg Show.